guys, it's Mrs. Leus. This is a very important video for students and parents to watch. This is all about your character book report for your trimester 1 project. This is going to be your project for the trimester. You're also going to be presenting it, as your report card will have a presentation grade, and that's what all of this will be for. Okay, so I'm just going to read through this and explain it a little bit more in detail. So you guys should have gotten this attached to your packet in your paper bag, and I'm going to go through it all. So your child will be doing a character book report for our first trimester. Students will be doing a character study from their chosen book. The book should be on the shorter side so that they can finish reading it within a few weeks. This project is going to be completed at home. There are specific due dates listed below, so all of these highlighted will have due dates for you, and for each part of the book report. So we really break it up into steps so it becomes a little bit easier. You definitely should be reading your book that you choose and then work on the project throughout the reading. That way it gets finished in time. If you read the book first and then you only have a few days to do the project, you're going to feel rushed. So I highly recommend reading a little bit out of your chosen book and then working on the packet. And then it also just helps you remember everything from your book, because you're going to need to find a lot of details in your chosen book for your character study. Then it says, more directions on how to complete the project is discussed in class. And so I've been going over the directions quite a bit, repeating myself just so the students are clear. But all students have heard me go over how to do the book report project, and they have this video they can watch anytime. And I have 2 examples of how to do the project in class that students can look at as well. And I'll show them in this video. All right, so the project consists of reading the book. After you complete the book, you need to take the AR quiz. If you do not take the AR quiz, I can't verify that you read your book. You need to be sure you're comprehending your book, and that's going to show me that through your score on your AR quiz. So that is a big part of the grade for this project. Then while you read, you're filling out your packet and answering the questions regarding your character from your story. And then you're going to put together an art project and present it to the class. So your child took home their packet, they have their paper bag for the art project, and then they also have this page for directions, and then you have this video. So let's look at some of the things coming up. So the first step is to pick a book for this project. The book must be fiction, and it should be on the shorter side. I need it to be a chapter book, but I don't want it to be super, super long. So you need to have your chosen book by Monday, October 12th. For both groups, if you're group 1 or group 2, you all will tell me and confirm the title of your book by Monday, October 12th. So you have quite a few days to figure this out. I even introduced this topic a little bit early for my kids, just so they had more than a week to find a book, because I really want them to find a good book for them. Once you've read the book, it says you need to take the AR quiz and pass it on the book you did for the project. The AR quiz must be taken by November 9th. So from October 12th to November 9th, you have to read the book and take the AR quiz and pass it. By November 9th, that AR quiz should be taken, and hopefully you got 100% because you were reading your book and understanding it. Then you need to complete the packet and character bag. The packet will have been worked on while you were reading, but the packet does need to be complete along with your art project that goes with the bag, and you need to turn that in to me. For group 1, it's due Tuesday the 10th, and group 2, it's due Thursday the 12th. Notice it's in class. You need to bring me the completion of the packet and the character bag. This is the bag, the art project that I'll show you in just a sec. So if they're due on the 10th and 12th, the following day that week, that's when you'll do the presentation. So group 1, you're going to present to the class on Wednesday the 11th, and group 2, you're going to present to class on Friday the 13th. Okay, so those are our dates. If anything changes, I will definitely let you and students know, but for now, these are our set dates for our project. It's very, very important that these are done in time and that nobody turns it in late. There should not be any issues with you getting it done on time because you're given so many days to complete it at home. You can even work on it over the weekend or after 3 o'clock during the week. You should be working on it. So let's go through the packet. I'm going to do my example of the project with our book, Old Yeller, that we've been reading in class. The rest of you guys will be writing down what book did you choose and who is the character that you're going to do your study on out of the book. You cannot do Old Yeller. This is just an example. You all know that you were choosing a book that you have not read before, and you already gave me your titles. As it says on here, you'll give me your book title by the 12th, okay? So I will be sure to approve your book that you chose. All right, so for this assignment, you're going to choose a character from your text, from the book you chose. You want to choose a rich, memorable character because it will make it much easier to complete this assignment. So you want to choose a main character. You don't want to choose a character in the book that you only talks or comes into the story a few times. You need someone, usually the main character, who's in the whole story. And you're going to need the paper bag. I attached the paper bag to your packet. The assignment has several components. On the front panel of your paper bag, draw your character. So if you look at my example, here's my paper bag. I drew a very basic sketch of Old Yeller because Old Yeller is my character. You guys, if you want, you can hand draw it, or if you'd rather print out a picture of your character and glue it onto the bag, you can do that as well. It's up to you. But I do need to see the main character that you chose on the front of your bag. On the side panels, so all the side panels, you're going to write about your character's likes and dislikes. You're going to do a paragraph for each with supporting evidence from the text. That is in here. So if you go into your packet, here's where it says side panels right here. So you're going to answer these questions, write down your answers, and then you're going to cut these out and glue them or tape them to the side of your paper bag. On the other panel, you're going to write about how your characters in the text react and interact with your character. So again, that's in your packet, and it'll ask you to answer the questions, and then you'll cut this out and glue it and tape it to your bag. And then on the back, it asks you how your character changed throughout the text. What was the character like at the beginning as opposed to how they were at the end? Did they change? And then last but not least is what goes inside your bag. Now notice it says include 10 items. I'm only requiring 5, but 5 is minimum. So you can't do 4, 3, 2, or 1. You need at least 5 items that explain what your character is like. You need to be prepared to explain and defend your choices in the oral presentation. Dig deep into the novel in your thinking for these items. The better the item, the better your mark, the better your grade. So let me show you an example for Old Yeller. So for Old Yeller, I chose a fire truck. I chose a fire truck because Old Yeller helps save the lives of Travis and others throughout the story. A fire truck is quick to come to the rescue, and Old Yeller was always very quick to come to the rescue throughout the story. I also chose French fries. I chose French fries because throughout the story, Old Yeller is always stealing people's food, and he is always hungry. He's very greedy with his food. I also chose a bouncy ball. I chose a bouncy ball to describe Old Yeller because he is very, very quick and jumpy. He is all over the place, and because he's a dog, he likes to jump up and down, and he's very quick at it. So I chose a bouncy ball. Let me fix the focus here. Sorry, hang on one second. All right, I also chose a harmonica. I chose a harmonica because if I play it, it makes some loud noises. And if you remember in the story, Old Yeller makes a lot of loud noises, hence the name Yeller. I chose a disguise outfit for Old Yeller's character because Old Yeller is very sneaky. He is so sneaky at robbing people's food. Remember throughout the story, Bud Searcy said that he was the quickest to steal other people's eggs and food from their town or their home. So I chose this because it's a disguise and It reminds me of someone being sneaky. I also chose a car. I chose a car because of its speed and because it's yellow. Old Yeller is very, very, very fast. When he would run in order to go save someone, he was so fast at running. So I chose a car to describe how fast he was. I chose a wrestler because of his strong muscles. I feel like Old Yeller was very strong and courageous throughout the entire story. He was very, very strong because he was able to fight off other animals in order to help others. I chose a dinosaur because when I think of dinosaurs, I think of someone or something that's very old. And Old Yeller, hence the name, is an older dog. So that describes, again, who he is. Old Yeller is a very old dog. And last but not least, I chose a figurine of someone who is in battle. And I did this because Old Yeller is a fighter. He's a fighter for good reasons. He would fight off the animals that were putting his family in danger, Travis and little Arliss, and he wasn't afraid to fight. He was always ready to fight and help out Travis, little Arliss, and their mom. So those are all the items that I chose. Now notice that these items are all things that I had at home, okay? I don't need you to go buy items. What I suggest is look around your house and find items that remind you of who your character is. Think about character traits. Again, I did loud. I did quick to help, always stealing food, sneaky, strong and brave, a fighter, old, very quick and very jumpy. Those all describe Old Yeller's character. I want you to look around your house and see if you can find any. I also am okay is if you don't have items, but you can think of something that you really want to use, you can just draw a picture of it and stick it in your bag. I am totally fine with that. So I would first look around the house and see what you have. And then if you don't find anything, you can always draw these items for your character. Okay. So I'm going to stick my items back in the bag. And when you come to school, you'll have all your items inside your bag, and when you present your project, you'll be reading to us all your answers from your packet that are glued onto your bag, and then one at a time, just like I did, you'll pull out an item and explain to us how that item represents your chosen character. Okay? Now again, I only am requiring 5, but you can do more than that if you want to. So let's talk about the oral presentation. You will be asked to orally present your assignment in class. Your assignment is to explain who your character is and what book he or she is from, so the title of your story. You're going to explain the side panels and back panels and give us a quick summary of your character based on the questions that it asked in the packet. And then you're going to show us your items. And you're going to explain to us why you chose your items. Why did they explain to us who your character is as a character in the story? Again, the focus is character. So think of character traits, okay? All right, so let's go through your packet now that we know what we're doing. I'm going to go over some things that I've started for my chosen book, which was Old Yeller. So notice that this says front panel, side panel, back panel. So you guys can absolutely use these for your notes. Notice this is planning organizer. You're not cutting these out. These stay in your packet, but these are my notes. So when I was reading Old Yeller, I started jotting down my notes as I read through the book so that when I was ready for my final page, I could record all of my answers in nice sentences and then cut this out and put it on my bag. So let's go through some notes that I took. On the front panel for my notes, it's going to ask me what my character looks like. Well, he's yellow, he's furry, he's a dog, he tended to be dirty a lot. He usually had mud and dirt on him. And he didn't really wear clothes because he was a dog. And he looked older. Here's some questions that you will put on your side panel. It says, what are your characters like and how do you know? I said that what my character is like, what they like, is food because he ate a lot and stole food. He really enjoys playing because he's always running and playing with little Arliss. He always gets full because he overeats. And he also enjoys being around other animals, but he would definitely chase them. So this is just like kind of his interactions and what he likes to do and what he didn't like to do. Here's another side panel notes. Again, these are my notes that I took down as I read. It said, how did your character interact with other characters? Well, Travis grew to love him. Little Arliss enjoyed him very much. He was really well liked by his family. The town people did not like Old Yeller because he stole their food. He was very loyal to his family. He protected and helped them hunt for food. So this answered all of these questions about how he was with other characters. How did your character change throughout the book? What caused these changes to happen? I said at first he was a bad dog. He was always stealing food, and then Travis trained him to be good. He also wanted to stay with Travis and the family. Old Yeller didn't want to leave them. And then here I wrote down throughout the story what I wanted to use. So let's say you come to a section in your book and you're like, oh, that would be a really good thing to use as an item for my character bag. Then I would write it down. So here's what I started writing down. I wrote down that he was really fast. I wrote down that he was sneaky, he was brave, he was messy and greedy, and he was very loyal. And so as I read the book, I started jotting down what his character traits are. And then when I was ready, I was able to find these items to put into my bag. Here is another option that you guys have for putting the character on your front panel. If you don't want to hand draw it and your person is either a boy or a girl, you can use these to put onto your front panel. It's up to you. You don't have to, but these are provided for you. Obviously, I had to hand draw mine because I didn't have a dog template. Again, if you want to print one online and glue it onto your bag, that's fine. But this is here for you if you need to use it. Okay, so these are the final copies. Here, they're asking you the same questions, but it is required that you answer these in complete sentences. Then it says to cut them out and glue them to the side panels of your paper bag. So I would glue them on this side here and on this side here after I answer my questions from my planning page and rewrite them in complete sentences. And here's the same thing for the other panel. This is the back panel right here. You're going to answer this again in a nice complete paragraph and then cut out the panel and glue it to the back of your bag. Here's another requirement that you're going to do with each object. So every object that you choose to put in your bag, you're going to explain and write down what it is. So my first object was a fire truck. And then I need to explain what it represents. It says this represents my character because he was very quick to rescue Travis or little Arliss when they were hurt. And there's my explanation. Now, it's important to do this because when you're pulling out your items, you'll know exactly what to say. And then I would do it again. My next item was the mask. And I wrote this because I chose this because Old Yeller was very sneaky when stealing food. Okay, and so I'm going to go through and I'm going to fill out one of these boxes for every item. Then what you want to do is take these pages, so you're going to take your whole packet, right, and you're going to turn this in along with your bag and all the items inside. You'll have your panels taped or glued onto your bag, and then you'll bring this in your bag to school to turn it in, and then you'll present it to the class. So you have 10 boxes, but remember, I'm only requiring you to pick 5. You can do more. And then on the back, this is just a nice checklist for you. This is definitely what I'm going to be using to grade your project. So number 1 says, did you use details from your book? So I need you, when you're answering your questions on what your character is like and how they interacted, I need you to support it with details from the book. Do not just answer, my character is nice. If your character is nice, you need to explain to me how were they nice in the story. That's how you're going to get full credit. You need to write in complete sentences. You need to use proper punctuation, capitalization, and grammar. You need to have proper spelling. I want you to color your bag on the front. So I wrote the character's name, I wrote the author of the book, and then I drew a picture of Old Yeller, so I want it to have color on it. And then, were you able to explain your project in your own words? And did you have a nice, good voice when you were explaining your project to the class? So this is definitely how I'm going to be grading your project. And that is all I have. So remember, my example for Old Yeller and my other example from Charlotte's Web will always be available to you in class so that you can come up and read them and have a better idea of what I did on the side panels, okay? So please remember to read, follow the dates that are listed on this page, and be sure to turn it in on time when it is due, and we will have an awesome time listening to your guys' character book report. All right, if you have any other questions, let me know or send me an email, and you guys will be all set.